this is my new friend, the Midas. And if you are looking on social media, you might have seen 3D printing of restorations coming into the world in the last couple of years. And I was hit by the targeted ads, and I use Noble Biocare for implants, so they're sort of linked in with Scrubs, so I've had them come up to me and say, do you want a 3D printer? And I nearly bought one about 9 months ago, and I decided it wasn't worth it, but clearly I changed my mind because now I've got one. And basically I thought it'd be worth making a video that someone might find interesting about a few weeks living with the Midas, and is it worth it so far? So I guess the first thing to think about with buying something like this is where you're going to put it. Now, I kept asking them, how big is this thing? Where can I keep it? And you know, they'll literally be like, oh, it's sort of this big, so you can probably put it on the side. Well, if you're wondering how big it is, this is how big. I guess like a few hands high. I guess that's what they do with horses. It's pretty small, and we've got a clip which will show where we keep it, which is just on a little shelf in the corner of the room. So space isn't a problem. I was wondering, is it noisy? No. Does it smell? No. So it is very practical for keeping in the surgery. So that's the first thing. I was worried about it. You don't need to worry about that. Next thing to think about was probably the big thing is the cost. I feel like the only person who's going to buy one is a practice owner. In theory, you could probably buy one as an associate, but I don't know, I'm not sure people would. As a practice owner, so these things cost, I think it's about 12 grand. So that is that plus the curing machine. This is the curing machine. So that was about 12 grand. And I was asking ChatGPT, Andrew's favourite. I was typing in, and to be honest, I ended up with the calculator because ChatGPT is not that good, like Andrew says. I was putting it in the calculator, how many single unit restorations would I need to make it worth it? So currently for our dental plan patients, we charge about 650 quid for a crown. Quid, pounds, whatever you want to call it. And the lab fee, I don't know, lab fee is somewhere between 150, 190 pounds, depending on what you're getting made and where from. And it worked out at something like 75, 80 crowns you'd have to make before the lab fee sort of made itself back, something like that. And that's kind of a reasonably feasible number of crowns over a longer period of time. So I thought, okay, cost-wise, probably worth it. And then I ordered it, it arrived, so I'll tell you what it's been like since we got it. So I bought it through Noble. I think Noble are a good company, they're very helpful. They offered to have somebody come and help me set it up, and I'm sometimes a little bit impatient. And I said, fine, let's book them to come, but it arrived on a Friday and they weren't coming till the Wednesday. So on the Friday, I set it up myself, and I'm not a computer whiz, but I managed to set it up myself, and I had a scan on the computer of a previous prep that I'd done, and I tried to print my own, and it took 3 attempts. First one, just goo came out. Second one was like part of a crown, because I basically set up a couple of things wrong. Like there's a little template that goes on the top, and I didn't know that existed, so I was just trying to like balance the capsule on the top, and obviously it didn't work. But the third time it worked, and it's really easy, user friendly, and I've made a few. So I've had it for a few weeks, and I would say that I've made probably 4 or 5 crowns and fitted them, and the appointments happened to already be long enough to try and do it in one go, which I think was my aim. No temporary, no coming back. Patients love the idea of it, by the way. I think they just like the idea of the dentist making their own restoration for you for whatever reason. and the idea of one visit, one set of injections. I know you might not need injections in the second appointment, but they love the idea of it. So we had somebody come in, did the prep, they sat in the waiting room for a drink and read a magazine while I messed around in here. And I would say currently it probably takes me half an hour. So the prep takes whatever, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe less, depending on what's going on with the tooth and the scan. But then the actual making it probably takes about half an hour. So I have a ITO scanner. It's not the newest one, but it works. I take a scan. The scanner sends it to the SprintRay cloud. And then on the cloud, they have a few design options. I've mostly used so far, they have like an AI design where you just upload your scan, and it only works for single units, by the way. You upload your scan, put it in, and it says this will take a matter of minutes, and that's the most stressful bit because you know the person's still there waiting and they're not there forever, and it doesn't tell you how long it's going to be, so you're sitting there watching the screen. It takes about 5, 7, 8 minutes. It's not too long, and then it pops up with the design. You check it, and the designs have actually been really good. It's a little bit faffy, a bit like when you start working with a new lab. I found, at least, like getting the contact point measurements right sometimes, because different people set different parameters on their printers and milling machines. So you can choose the parameters for the contact point, how tight you want it. And I think I'm going to loosen it slightly because there's been, I'd say most of them, I've struggled to seat it, and then when I've thinned the contact slightly, it's been fine after that. The adaptation of the marginal fit, or however you want to call it, the marginal fit has been really good. I guess like with the digital accuracy, that's been really good. So I think when the parameters are right for the bite and the contacts, it should be quite smooth. So yeah, the patient went out for about half an hour, came back in, the fitting process was fine. Because it's like a resin-based restoration, it's like part ceramic, part resin. I kind of bonded it like another resin-based restoration. So I used etch and bond. I think I used a bit of silane just to be on the safe side. And yeah, it's been good. I had a call that, I saw the message when I was on holiday that one of the crowns that you've just made has come off, and I thought, flick that. Have I just spent 12 grand on a machine and there's a problem with these crowns? But classic scenario, the patient came in and the tooth in front had decoronated, which was, in my opinion, nothing to do with me. That tooth was due treatment as well. So yeah, thankfully no issues in the first few weeks. So currently success rate is obviously 100%. One other thing, I think the downsides are it is quite heavily reliant on the technology, so the cloud system and the design. So if you're going to make a restoration, I want to make it there and then, because I'm trying to skip out the temp and everything else, but you need it to be slick. So the AI thing works, but it only does the single restorations. So I had somebody who needed 2 crowns next to each other, and I couldn't do that. And you could temporize it, get those designed and then print them, and it still saves you the cost of the lab fee and you're using your new machine. But now what I'm thinking is, do I take the plunge on ExoCAD? So if you don't know ExoCAD, the software which most labs use to design restorations, do I spend 1, 2, 3 grand on that software, which feels like another gamble of another thing that I might not use, but if you're paying that, you've got to end up using it. And I asked one guy who's like works for Noble, and he was like, oh, your time's better spent elsewhere, which I'm sure a lot of dentists would say too. But then somebody else said, who, I mean, ironically works for SprintRay, said third-party software can be really useful because you can do more with it. So I'm strongly considering that. So that's a summary of what I found. Hopefully it's not super boring, but that's what I found with this. I think a video like this would have helped me before buying it, so that's why we've made it. If you've got any questions about it, put them in the comments, and we'll probably make more videos about this and other things in the practice. So if you're interested, press the subscribe button, and thanks for watching.